Hello everyone, welcome to my channel English with Evelyn. Today we'll do Discovering Tut. This is from class 11 reader, Hornbill, NCERT reader. तो डिस्कवरिंग टट थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजिंग इसलिए लगता है क्योंकि इसका जो नैरेटिव है वो शिफ्ट होता है 2005 से 3000 years ago Egypt. Then it comes back again to Howard Carter in 1922. Then again a description of how the CT scan was done, and then again to 1968 when the X-ray was done. So all of these things make it very confusing. So I have divided it in some parts which is going to make it easy for the students to understand. तो ये इंट्रोडक्शन आप पढ़ सकते हैं, है ना. ये A.R. विलियम्स ने लिखा है, नेशनल ज्योग्राफिक के एक आर्टिकल से लिया गया है. ये इसमें रिकॉर्ड किया गया था, स्पेशल फोकस था जब तूतनखामन की मम्मी को जब सीटी स्कैन किया गया था उसके बारे में है ये. ठीक है, तो उसमें उन्होंने ये बताया है कि तूतनखामन का बैकग्राउंड बताया है. ठीक है, उनकी मम्मी के बारे में बताया है, उनकी डेथ के बारे में बताया है और डायनेस्टी के बारे में बताया है. ये सब चीजें हैं इसमें. ठीक है, अब ये जो किंग है, दिस इज द यंग किंग तूतनखामन. द photograph obviously has been created from the CT scans. ठीक है, and the picture in the middle is Howard Carter. ठीक है. Now first of all I'll tell you about Tut's dynasty. ठीक है, so Tut belonged to King Tut belonged to a very strong dynasty, a very powerful rulers who had ruled over a long period in Egypt, and their rule was a golden era. His father was a very powerful pharaoh who had his grandfather or father, it's not clear, but he had ruled for a period of about 40 years. But then when his son Amenhotep succeeded him, he इनिशिएटेड द स्ट्रेंजर्स पीरियड. और स्ट्रेंजर्स पीरियड क्यों बोलते हैं? क्योंकि इन्होंने अपना नाम अमेनोतेप से चेंज करके अखेनातेन अपना नाम रख लिया था. ये है अखेनातेन. अखेनातेन की वाइफ नेफिटिटी आपने बहुत बार देखा होगा. ये कहीं पे भी आर्ट्स में, पेंटिंग्स में आपने देखा होगा. दिस इज नेफिटिटी. सो अखेनातेन एंड नेफिटिटी बोथ हैड स्टार्टेड वर्शिपिंग इंस्टेड ऑफ Amun, who was the deity that everyone worshipped. They started worshipping Aten. ठीक है, and this is Amun. Okay, this is the deity that they attacked. They changed the capital also. They ruined the temples of Amun. Okay, this is Amun. This is Amun. And this is Aten. And in this picture you can see this is Akhenaten and Nefertiti who are worshipping Aten. ठीक है, फिर से डायनेस्टी पे आते हैं. ये अखेनातेन के बाद में एक रूलर आए जिनका कुछ ज्यादा उनके बारे में पता नहीं है. उसके बाद में तूतनखामन, हु इज द कैरेक्टर, द इम्पोर्टेंट पर्सन जिसके बारे में हम आज यहाँ बात कर रहे हैं. तूतनखामन केम टू पावर एंड ही रूल फॉर अबाउट 9 years. So he was the last ruler, and the dynasty came to an end with his death because he died young, and at a time when it was unexpected that he would die. ठीक है. Now why I am showing you this picture is because Zahi Hawass, he was the in charge. He was the one who was overlooking the whole project when Tutankhamun's body or his mummy was put under a seat for a CT scan. So he was very worried and he blamed Howard Carter that he did not do the right thing. Okay, and he treated King Tut's body with a lot of disrespect and destroyed it. Okay, so this is why he was worried again now, because the CT scan is going to take place. this is another person. He is Howard Carter, a very important person in the present context. He was a British archaeologist, and he discovered the tomb of the 18th dynasty pharaoh Tutankhamun in November 1922. And this is the a tomb, a very important tomb with the greatest treasure ever found in the in a pyramid in the Valley of the Kings. So this is now, when Howard found this, what all did he find? A lot of gold, a lot of wealth. There were 3 nested coffins. और मैं बाद में डिटेल में आपको बताऊंगी कि टट के कॉफिन में, टूम में क्या क्या चीज़ मिली थी. ठीक है. And his tomb was cut, in a rock. It was 26 feet under the ground. It had some wall paintings as well. Now, the biggest problem for which some people, people are divided. Some favor Carter, they understand his point of view. The others think that he could have been more sensitive. Now, one of the coffins put Carter into trouble. The funerary resins had solidified, and so he could not remove the body from the solid gold coffin. So he put that coffin into the outside. He took it outside and put it under the sun, so that maybe that would melt the resins, but that did not help. So finally he had no other option but to remove the resins with tools, the chisel and hammer. And then finally, when that also did not work very well, he had to remove the body bits by bits. He severed the joints, and then he removed the body in parts. So his men first removed the head, and then they cut off each and every joint, and after he had removed all the body parts, then he put it on a layer of sand, and then they kept the parts in a wooden box and placed it at the original place. Okay. So this way at least they had removed the body from the coffin, okay, where it was, and it could have solidified even more. More resin could have melted over the years. We do not know, because it is resin. We know what resin is. So that is why again, they put it back in the original place. This is after this was done, okay. As and when technology was developing, people wanted to know more and more about. People were curious. So in 1968, an anatomy professor x-rayed the body of Tut, and then there was this startling fact which was revealed, that the breastbone and front ribs are missing. Now, this thickened the mystery over Tut's death all the more. Okay, and so finally in 2005, when the CT scanners came, people thought maybe, we can know more about his death. How exactly did he die, and when exactly did he die? So they decided, and with the authorities, the permission of the authorities, it was decided that King Tut's body would be put under a scanner. So on the night of the scan, that is in January, workmen carried Tut from the tomb in his box. They climbed a ramp. This is a very commonly asked question. How did the scanning take place, or what is the problem that people faced when the scanning had to be done, or what was the result of the scan? So this will be answered here. So they climbed a ramp and a flight of stairs into the sand outside, and then they rose on a hydraulic lift into the trailer. This trailer held the scanner, and initially there was some problem because sand got into the fan, but then finally the fan was replaced, and the technicians were able to scan the mummy from head to toe, and 1700 X-ray images in cross section were created. Tut's head was scanned in 0.62 millimeter slices to register its complicated structures. His entire body was also recorded. Then a team of specialists in radiology, forensics and anatomy, they began to probe. The result, what came as a result, that is not shared in the lesson. But they say that astonishing images were created. The head took shape, and they could, rotate, as you can, see how it is done in the movies and all. The entire 3D figure could be, rotated, and everything, the neck vertebrae, the hand, the rib cage, everything was very clearly visible. Okay. Now, after this, Zahi Hawass, I've shared his picture earlier. He was very relieved, he was thankful, he was grateful that everything happened without a hitch, and the mummy was returned again to the tomb. Okay. Now, as I told you earlier, a very important question is asked. It's repeated. Like what was there in Tut's tomb. So this is a detail of Tut's treasure. After months of carefully recording the pharaoh's funerary treasures, a lot of treasures were there. है ना? What was there? Precious collars, inlaid necklaces, bracelets, rings, amulets, and sandals, sheets. All of these things were there. After this, he opened the 3 nested coffins. So when he opened the first, he found the shroud. Shroud. What is a shroud? The shroud is the cloth in which a dead body is wrapped. है ना? कफन जिसे कहते हैं हम. So opening the first, he found the shroud. It was adorned with garlands of willow, olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, cornflowers. है ना? And because of all of these things, it is said that the burial took place in March or April. ठीक है. Then this is not all. He was also buried with the everyday things that he would want in his afterlife, because they believed in afterlife. Board games, bronze razor, linen undergarments, cases of food and wine, all of these things. So this is all about discovering Tut, and I'm sure after going through this video, if you read the lesson, you will not find it confusing at all. See, we have to see what are the major things given in the lesson. They have told you about the dynasty. They have told you about the young king, Tut. They have told you about Howard Carter, his discovery, the problem that he faced, what all was there in the tombs. And then they tell you about the scan. The two, first is the X-ray that took place in 1968, and then the CT scan. Now the CT scan is divided in like 3 parts, so it will be difficult. That is why children find it difficult to understand. But I think I have put all of these things together. Okay, so if you go through this video and then you go through the questions given at the back of the text, then I think you'll be able to answer them very well. So with this, I've come to the end of this video. I will say goodbye now, and I hope you have found this interesting and also very helpful. Thank you. Bye bye.